Ladies and gentlemen, I woke up this morning thinking it was Tuesday. I did. And
you're wrong.
I was. But then I thought about it. By the time we watched Monday Night Raw, it was in fact Tuesday where Monday Night Raw was. Because we were over the pond in Manchester, England. And this is the Raw Review. Little story about my day. I'm just tired. Anyway, so...
Interesting. They actually recorded a Raw earlier in the day.
Yes.
I didn't tell you, but I actually read everything that happened before we watched it.
Well, you asked me about a prediction during a match, so I assumed that you had seen most of it. Let's talk about what happened. We opened up with Baron Corbin, proud of himself for, the thing he did in a different country that I'm not going to talk about. But then he talks about how he's going to be...
about the thing he did, or where it happened, or, like, the country.
Well, I didn't say the country, so fuck it. I'm not going to talk about any of it, because it's all bullshit. Baron Corbin talks about how he's going to be the captain of the Raw Survivor Series team, but unfortunately, because of his managerial duties, he can't actually compete. So
Which doesn't make sense, because...
you can't...
that hasn't stopped you from wrestling before.
Exactly. But anyway... he decides that he will still be the captain. He'll just decide who's on the team. And he announces the first three competitors will be Drew McIntyre, Dolph Ziggler, and Braun Strowman. He then brings out Alexa Bliss because she will, in the same vein, be the captain of the Raw women's team. She will also be in a managerial state as well due to her injury. And she... tries to talk about how she's going to start naming people. She makes the first match, but she gets interrupted by Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle then challenges Baron Corbin, and that ends up being our main event to determine which of them is actually going to be the captain. And then she tries to say it again, but then Braun Strowman comes out and just destroys security and chases away Baron Corbin. Then the match that Alexa was trying to make was a rematch from Evolution, where we had the Riot Squad versus Bayley, Sasha, and Natty. This one just kind of ended because Ruby broke sunglasses that supposedly belonged to Jim Neidhart. So we ended very awkwardly with Natty crying and drooling over broken sunglasses. Then Apollo Crews defeated Jinder Mahal. The Authors of Pain got a lucky break. Seth Rollins was out talking about how, that thing that happened somewhere else, bullshit. Also, Dean Ambrose is an asshole. He doesn't really want to carry around 2 tag titles, so he doesn't think he can defend it. But then Baron Corbin's like, hey, you're going to defend it against the Authors of Pain. So, despite a valiant effort from Seth Rollins, the Authors of Pain are now the Raw Tag Team Champions. And then Dean Ambrose comes out and drops Seth Rollins again.
Continues to be an asshole.
Exactly. The Revival commented on Lucha House Party, kind of reiterating their no flips, just fists kind of slogan, saying that that's all that Lucha House Party does. So we're more than likely going to be getting a rematch probably next week. Would you pop if the Revival just showed up on 205 Live and beat the shit out of Lucha House Party? Maybe tomorrow.
Absolutely, because they're like the right size. Revival are 2 small men.
That's true. I don't know if either of them are 205 though. They might be close.
I would venture.
They might be close.
They're within range.
I'm gonna say they push 215, 220. That's my personal. Just because both of them are real stocky guys.
Yeah.
So especially Dash. If either of them is heavier, it's gonna be Dash.
Yeah.
Because Dash is much bigger than Dawson.
Dash has more muscle.
Yeah.
Which is more dense, so he will weigh more.
Yeah.
Dawson will be 205 if he takes off the knee brace.
He'll be like...
That knee brace puts him up at 206.
It's a heavy-ass knee brace.
It is.
Then we also had Dolph Ziggler come out and comment about how he's actually best in the world and that Shane McMahon shouldn't have won a tournament that he wasn't in. He was then interrupted.
Which I agree with.
Most people do. He was then interrupted by Elias, and Elias talked some trash. And then Dolph Ziggler's like, hey, why don't you come down and fight me? And Elias is like, all you had to do was ask. So Elias came down and beat Dolph Ziggler. We had Ronda Rousey respond to Becky's comments from last week. Ronda's fired up. She's ready to take it to Becky at Survivor Series. Nia Jax came out and reminded Ronda that once she gets past Becky Lynch, that Nia Jax is waiting. And Ronda's fine with that. Then Nia Jax defeated Ember Moon. Tamina came out, and her and Nia had one of their face-offs. Then both of them beat the shit out of Ember Moon.
Oh, Nia, you're the new Big Show.
She's the female Big Show.
Just like, all right.
Makes sense. She's the biggest woman on the roster.
Yeah, just, you know.
I think, is it the altitude that just confuses them on what they're supposed to be?
Maybe. I don't know. Just,
I don't know.
It's what happens with lazy writers.
Yeah. Well, Baron Corbin, who had been trying to get away from Braun Strowman all night long, decided, well, I guess he had a emergency appointment that he had to get to. So, in his place for the main event would be first named member of the Raw team, Drew McIntyre. Or he might have been second. Whatever. It'll be Drew McIntyre versus Kurt Angle in the main event. Lashley defeated Finn Balor. Boo. Then Drew McIntyre came out and dropped Finn Balor. Next week, Stephanie's going to show up. Alexa's actually going to announce her team. Something else has happened next week. It's all bullshit, so I'm not going to talk about that. And then in the main event, in the douchiest way possible, Drew McIntyre defeated Kurt Angle to ensure that Baron Corbin is still the Raw team captain. And that is all that happened on Monday Night Raw. Kevin Hart, what did you like? Tell me now.
I liked Elias versus Dolph Ziggler.
Absolutely.
I selected Elias beat Dolph Ziggler.
That's always a plus.
You know, it's just good. Elias is a guy who needs to get on a roll.
Yeah.
Especially with how over he was over there, UK.
Oh, yeah.
Super over. So now we know he's got the staying power of being over regardless of where he's at.
I agree.
So, you know, let's give Elias a push.
Why not? I'm gonna piggyback off of that with the fact that I really enjoy the way that they're turning Elias babyface, because they're not giving us that not yet. This could turn sour very quickly because it's WWE, but they're giving us Elias still being Elias, but focusing all of his negativity on who is across the ring from him, rather than focusing it on the crowd or any of the other baby faces. They're still allowing him to be Elias, just at whoever he's, not happy with at the moment.
Yeah.
And like I said, it can turn very quickly, but so far, I like the way that they're turning Elias babyface. Don't fuck it up. You probably will, but don't fuck it up. What did you love?
This is a much more difficult question to answer.
Yes.
But
or what did you like slightly more?
You know what? I'll give my love actually to the Ronda Rousey promo.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I'm not usually one to give my love to a promo segment, but it was really good.
So, sometimes they deserve it.
It seemed fairly genuine, and it's one of those things that just furthers the idea that Ronda Rousey is not someone to fuck with.
Oh, no. I think anyone that has ever thought that Ronda Rousey isn't somebody, or is somebody to fuck with, should really rethink their life. Because that's dumb. That's dumb. Yeah, and I think, that was the one thing that she needed to work on. In her last couple feuds, she's really proved that she has the ability to cut a promo, and, it doesn't feel forced or anything. She actually, it's like she's gearing up for a fight, and that's exactly what it needs to do. Okay. So, despite the shit that we already gave it, because I don't like that Nia is now a heel again all of a sudden, but I will give my love to Nia versus Ember and the joining of Nia and Tamina. Just because that's kind of where I thought this whole thing was kind of going, because they never really had like a full blown like beat the shit out of each other moment. So I kind of figured it was building to a tag team. This kind of reiterates and kind of pushes more that we're getting women's tag titles here pretty soon. Though we're seeing a lot more alliances, a lot more tag teams within the women's division as a whole. But, I mean, just Nia Jax versus Ember, like, I thought Ember was going to win this fucking thing because she had a lot of really good hope moments, and then Nia had some really good just cut the babyface off moments. It was a great match, and despite the fact that we now have to watch Nia be heel again, despite her being a babyface for the last month and a half or however long it's been since she's been back, I enjoyed the segment on Raw. It was good. Did you dislike anything?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, you want to know what it is I disliked?
Yeah.
I was just answering your question if I disliked anything.
Tell the people, what did you dislike from Raw?
Good portion of it.
Yeah, there was a lot of awkward moments.
Okay, so I will harp on one detail.
Okay.
Just because, and it wasn't done the exact same way, but we had a very formulated, patterned moment happen on the show that had already happened. Because earlier, we had the Nia Jax Ember Moon moment where then at the end of the match, Tamina came out and attacked Ember Moon.
Yes.
Then we had the Finn Balor versus Lashley, and then out came Drew McIntyre, and then Drew McIntyre attacked Finn Balor. So you had the same thing over and over, twice, where another heel came out and then just attacked the babyface who lost the match.
We actually had that 3 times because Dean came out and attacked Seth after he lost to the Authors of Pain.
Yeah.
So it actually happened 3 times. Yeah, that is annoying.
Mm-hmm. I'm not a fan of shows being repetitive.
Yeah.
And it's one thing to say, the same thing keeps happening week after week after week, versus saying, the same thing just happened 3 times in one show.
Yeah, I mean, it made sense for Dean, and I guess it would have made sense for Tamina and Nia, but it really didn't make sense for Drew just to drop Finn for whatever reason.
Yeah, and it's, whether or not it makes sense, it's just the idea, whatever agents are in charge of the segments or whoever's writing the way the stories are going to progress, they need to put their heads together and realize, hey, you're doing a thing where somebody comes out and attacks after the match? Oh, we were thinking about doing that. We shouldn't have that on the show 3 times.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
No, well, that's 1 for each hour, man. That's what it is. Each hour's a different show, you know that.
It's almost as bad as Coach's word of the hour.
Well, Coach isn't on commentary anymore, so take a note. No more word of the hour, no more attack of the hour.
Yeah.
Don't do that shit.
But bring back Attack of the Show.
I don't think I know what that is.
It's just a show on a channel that doesn't exist anymore. So.
Oh, is that G4?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. I do kind of remember that show. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I'm going to give my dislike to 2 very awkward moments. One at the beginning of the show, one at the very end of the show. First off, to have a match end, to have the Riot Squad leave after bringing Natty to tears makes no sense for the Riot Squad, because as a pack mentality, they should have taken advantage of that and just beat the shit out of her. And just to have the match end because sunglasses were broken, that's dumb. I understand they were trying to put a lot of sentimentality on the sunglasses, but shit's happened like that before in other matches, and the match doesn't just end. It's usually the heel takes advantage of the situation. So that was annoying. Then also, Drew McIntyre, this makes a little more sense, but it was still awkward the way it happened. Drew McIntyre hits the Claymore and then waits for Kurt Angle to get up. And then gives Kurt Angle a chance to try and take him down. And I get that it was like a humiliation type of thing, but it felt weird after he had already hit Drew. I get Drew.
That's like one of his finishes.
Yeah, I get Drew wants to make the Raw roster better, but he also wants to show that he can put down a legend like Kurt Angle. So why would he hit the Claymore and then be like, "Oh, here, Kurt, here's my leg, go for it," and then like, it was weird.
It goes against the motif of like the Drew Dolph thing, which is we're going to come out and win matches.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of wrestlers who come in and like when they wrestle, they have like that sense of urgency and they make it feel like they really, really want to win. Drew is one of those guys.
Absolutely.
Drew is one of those guys who does a lot of pins and stuff in his matches that make it look like he's actually trying to win.
Yeah.
So to have him do that is very out of character in the same way it is to make Samoa Joe supposedly like a creepy stalker man.
Yeah, which I still hate. But yeah, no, it just, I don't know. I don't know how I would have done it. Like even just to keep all of those elements in the same match. I don't know what I would do to reorder it. Would you do the whole angle slam, ankle lock, have Angle get out, then like, here, I'll give you a chance, give you my leg. Oh, you tried to take me down, Claymore. Like, you could do it that way, but I get it was like a humiliation type of thing where it's like, oh, I'm gonna beat you with your own move. Like, I feel like they were trying to tell like 3 different stories in this match.
Yeah, I think the one thing it would have benefited from was if Kurt Angle would have had more offense.
Yeah, the match was very dominated by Drew.
And I mean, it makes sense to a degree because Drew is younger,
yeah.
He's in better physical condition, all of the above, but it just felt at that point that Kurt was... There was like... It got to the point where it just felt like, oh, there's no chance Kurt will win.
Yeah.
Then he got his little hope spot with the ankle lock, and it was that moment where it's like, man, oh, that's... On one hand, it would have been cool, because like, oh yeah, I would be cool with Kurt winning.
Yeah.
But at the same time, to have him completely beat to shit and then immediately just hit his ankle lock and win
that's
would
always
be dumb.
Annoying. That's always annoying.
You know? On Drew, who essentially is not weakened at all.
Exactly.
Yeah. So maybe either if they gave Angle a little more offense or made the match a little shorter.
Yeah. Yeah. Regardless, just some awkward situations. It was a little weird. But anyway, that was Monday Night Raw. This has been the Raw Review. Thanks for watching.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Click those links down below.
There are so many social media links.
There's also a podcast link. It works. Indie News is up.
What?
You can subscribe and you can go listen to yesterday's Indie News.
Yeah, that's linked down there. It's the SoundCloud.
Do it. They had like a revamp. They updated the website and everything.
Oh,
so
maybe that's
it's
why it
cool.
wasn't working.
Probably. So go check out SoundCloud, but also check out Reasonable Wrestling Fans.
It's reasonable with the W.
Like wrestling. Where we have the list with Kevin Hawk, Question of the Week with Thomas Wolfe, other videos that are loosely based around wrestling, but we also have, every single month, just a week ago, we had a brand new unboxing from our friends at Pro Wrestling Great, where we get cool shirts like this Mean Gene shirt. We get all these little micro brawlers.
Papa Shango was in that last one.
Exactly. We get a couple of Funko Pops and other ones. You got to check it out. Go check out and see all the stuff that we've got in cool boxes. Let us know what other types of videos you'd like to see over there and here. But for now, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you at whatever video you decide to watch next.
And if you don't click that bell notification button thingy, I've got 2 words for you.
Suck it!
Yeah, actually.
Really?
But also...
Fuck Modus.